Ladies and gentlemen, there's a saying that has guided many throughout life. Don't let your emotions control your life. Let your life control your emotions. Why? Because feelings are powerful, and while they can propel us to great heights, if left unchecked, they can also lead us astray. Think about it. How often have we made decisions in the heat of the moment, only to regret them later? Perhaps it was anger that drove us to say something we didn't mean. Maybe it was fear that held us back from seizing an opportunity. Or perhaps it was frustration that made us quit just before the breakthrough. Feelings are like the wind, they're always moving, always changing. But you're not the wind. You're the captain of your ship. And the captain doesn't let the wind decide where to go. The captain uses the wind. You see, control isn't about suppressing how you feel. It's about recognizing your emotions, understanding them, and deciding how to respond. Let anger fuel your passion for positive change, not destruction. Let fear remind you to be cautious but not paralyze you. Let joy uplift you but not distract you from your purpose. How do you take control? Start by pausing. In every emotional moment, there's a gap, a small space between what happens to you and how you respond. That gap is where your power lies. When you feel emotions bubbling up, take a deep breath and step back. Ask yourself, is this feeling helping or hurting my progress? Next, discipline your thoughts. What you focus on grows. If you dwell on problems, your emotions will reflect them. But if you focus on solutions, gratitude, and possibilities, your feelings will align with that. Finally, surround yourself with the right influences. The people and environments around you have a way of amplifying emotions. Choose wisely. Remember this, you are not a victim of your emotions. You are the master of your mind and the architect of your destiny. So, the next time life throws a storm your way, don't let the waves of feeling toss you around. Grab the wheel, adjust the sails, and steer toward your destination with confidence and calm. Control your feelings and you'll control your future. Emotions are an inherent part of being human, shaping how we experience the world around us. They influence our decisions, behaviors, and interactions. However, the challenge lies not in feeling emotions but in how we respond to them. To navigate life effectively, it's essential to recognize emotions without reacting impulsively. This ability to acknowledge and manage emotions is not about denying them but about cultivating awareness and control. The first step in recognizing emotions is understanding that they are signals, not directives. Emotions arise in response to our perceptions of situations, acting as indicators of what we value, fear, or desire. For instance, anger might signal that we feel our boundaries have been violated, while fear could indicate a perceived threat. These feelings provide valuable information about our inner state and external circumstances. By recognizing emotions as signals, we can pause to interpret them instead of immediately acting on them. Reacting instinctively to emotions often leads to consequences we later regret. When emotions take over without our awareness, they can distort our perception of reality. Consider moments of anger when harsh words are spoken in the heat of the moment. The emotion may subside, but the damage caused by impulsive reactions can linger. Similarly, fear might prompt us to avoid risks, even those necessary for growth and success. Instinctive reactions often cater to immediate emotional relief, rather than long-term benefits. Building emotional awareness requires mindfulness. This involves observing your feelings as they arise without judgment. Imagine watching your emotions like clouds passing in the sky, acknowledging their presence but not becoming attached to them. This practice allows you to create space between the emotion and your reaction. For example, when you feel frustration bubbling up, pausing to recognize and name the feeling "I'm frustrated right now" can help diffuse its intensity. Naming emotions brings them into conscious awareness, reducing their power to control your behavior. Another key aspect of recognizing emotions is identifying their triggers. Emotions rarely appear without cause. They are often linked to specific events, thoughts, or interactions. By understanding what triggers certain emotions, you can better anticipate and manage your responses. For example, if you notice that criticism makes you defensive, you can prepare yourself to respond constructively the next time you encounter it. Identifying patterns in emotional triggers helps you approach situations with greater clarity and control. Developing emotional intelligence also involves understanding that emotions are temporary. Feelings, no matter how intense, eventually pass. This knowledge can prevent you from overreacting to fleeting states. Think about a time when something upset you deeply, only for the intensity of the emotion to diminish hours or days later. Reminding yourself of the temporary nature of emotions can provide perspective and reduce the urge to react impulsively. It allows you to weather emotional storms with patience and resilience. Self-compassion plays a vital role in recognizing emotions without reacting instinctively. Sometimes we feel uncomfortable emotions like sadness, guilt, or fear and judge ourselves for experiencing them. This self-criticism can amplify the emotion, making it harder to manage. Instead, approach your feelings with kindness and curiosity. Accept that emotions are a natural part of being human, and allow yourself to experience them without self-condemnation. This attitude fosters a healthier relationship with your emotions, enabling you to process them more effectively. One practical technique for recognizing emotions is the practice of deep breathing. When emotions surge, the body often reacts with physical symptoms like increased heart rate, shallow breathing, or muscle tension. Deep, intentional breaths can help calm your physiological response, creating space for thoughtful reflection. Inhale deeply through your nose, hold for a few seconds, and exhale slowly. This simple act can ground you in the present moment, reducing the intensity of the emotion and allowing you to approach it with greater awareness. Journaling is another effective method for developing emotional recognition. Writing down your thoughts and feelings helps you externalize and analyze them. It provides an opportunity to reflect on the causes and patterns of your emotions. By putting your feelings into words, you gain clarity and insight, making it easier to manage them. Over time, journaling can reveal recurring themes in your emotional landscape, empowering you to address them proactively. It's also important to differentiate between reacting and responding. Reacting is often automatic and driven by immediate emotions, while responding involves thoughtful consideration of the situation. For example, if someone says something hurtful, your instinct might be to retaliate with equally harsh words. However, recognizing the emotion, perhaps hurt or anger, and choosing to respond calmly can lead to a more constructive outcome. Responding requires a moment of reflection, which can only happen if you've developed the habit of recognizing your emotions. Cultivating this level of emotional awareness takes practice and patience. Start by dedicating a few moments each day to check in with yourself. Ask questions like, what am I feeling right now? Why do I feel this way? How do I want to respond? These simple inquiries help build a habit of emotional recognition, enabling you to navigate your feelings more effectively. The benefits of recognizing emotions without reacting instinctively extend beyond personal growth. It enhances your relationships, decision-making, and overall well-being. When you approach your emotions with awareness, you communicate more effectively, resolve conflicts constructively, and make choices aligned with your values. You become less reactive and more intentional, creating a life driven by purpose rather than momentary feelings. Recognizing emotions without reacting instinctively is about taking ownership of your inner world. It's a commitment to being proactive rather than reactive, thoughtful rather than impulsive. While emotions may arise naturally, how you handle them is within your control. By acknowledging your feelings, understanding their triggers, and choosing your responses, you empower yourself to live with clarity, balance, and integrity. This is not the absence of emotion, it's the mastery of it. In the fast-paced world we live in, emotions often dictate our reactions before we've had the chance to truly process them. Anger can lead to an argument, fear might cause hesitation, and excitement could push us toward impulsive decisions. However, the ability to pause and reflect before responding is a skill that can transform not only how we handle challenges, but also how we build relationships, make decisions, and live a more intentional life. The act of pausing creates a crucial gap between the stimulus, the event or trigger, and your response. This gap, though small, is where your power lies. In this moment, you can choose to act thoughtfully rather than reacting impulsively. When something happens that triggers a strong emotional response, your body often reacts immediately. Your heart rate may increase, your breathing might quicken, and your mind can become flooded with thoughts. These physical and mental reactions make it tempting to act on impulse, but by taking a deliberate pause, you regain control of the situation. Pausing doesn't mean ignoring or suppressing your emotions. Instead, it means giving yourself the time and space to acknowledge them without being consumed by them. For instance, if someone makes a comment that offends you, your instinct might be to snap back with a harsh reply. However, pausing allows you to reflect on why you feel offended. Is it the content of the comment, the tone in which it was said, or perhaps an underlying insecurity being triggered? Understanding the source of your emotion equips you to respond in a way that addresses the issue constructively, rather than escalating the situation. One of the most effective ways to pause is through mindful breathing. When emotions run high, your body's fight or flight response is activated, making it harder to think clearly. Deep, intentional breaths can help calm your nervous system and bring your focus back to the present moment. Try inhaling deeply for a count of 4, holding your breath for another count of 4, and then exhaling slowly for a count of 6. This simple practice not only soothes your physical response, but also gives you the mental clarity to reflect on how you want to respond. Another powerful tool is self-inquiry. During the pause, ask yourself a few key questions. What am I feeling right now? Why do I feel this way? What outcome do I want from this situation? These questions shift your focus from reacting based on emotion to responding based on intention. For example, if you're feeling frustrated because a colleague missed a deadline, pausing to ask these questions might help you realize that your frustration stems from a fear of not meeting your own goals. This awareness can guide you to address the issue calmly and collaboratively, rather than venting your frustration unproductively. Pausing and reflecting also give you the opportunity to consider the long-term consequences of your actions. Reacting in the heat of the moment often satisfies a temporary emotional need but can lead to regret later. Think about a time when you sent an angry text or email without thinking it through. The immediate release might have felt good, but the aftermath strained relationships or misunderstandings was likely not worth it. By pausing, you can weigh the potential outcomes and choose a response that aligns with your values and goals. Moreover, reflection allows you to see the bigger picture. When emotions are high, our perspective often narrows, focusing solely on the immediate problem or conflict. Pausing helps you step back and view the situation more objectively. This broader perspective can reveal alternative solutions or insights you might have missed in the heat of the moment. For example, if a disagreement arises with a loved one, pausing might help you see that the issue is less about the specific argument and more about underlying feelings of being unheard or unappreciated. Addressing these deeper concerns can lead to a more meaningful resolution. Practicing the art of pausing and reflecting also strengthens your emotional resilience over time. Each time you choose to pause, you reinforce your ability to manage emotions effectively. This builds a sense of self-confidence and control, making it easier to handle challenging situations in the future. It's like exercising a muscle. The more you practice, the stronger it becomes. Over time, pausing becomes a natural response, rather than something you have to consciously force. Another important aspect of pausing is recognizing that it doesn't always have to be immediate. If a situation feels particularly overwhelming, it's okay to take a longer pause. This might mean stepping away from the conversation or conflict to gather your thoughts. Saying something like, "I need a moment to think about this," or "let's revisit this later," can give you the space you need to reflect without pressure. This approach not only benefits you but also shows others that you value thoughtful communication and decision-making. It's also important to remember that pausing and reflecting are not about perfection. There will be times when emotions get the better of you, and that's okay. What matters is your willingness to learn from those moments and strive to do better next time. Reflection is not just something that happens in the moment but can also occur after the fact. If you realize you reacted impulsively, take the time to reflect on what triggered your reaction and how you could handle a similar situation differently in the future. This kind of post-incident reflection is a valuable learning tool that helps you grow. Practicing gratitude during your moments of reflection can further enhance this process. When you pause, take a moment to identify something positive about the situation or the person involved. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's wrong to what's right, fostering a more constructive mindset. For instance, if you're upset with a friend for being late, pausing to reflect on how much you value their presence in your life can soften your response. This doesn't mean excusing their behavior but approaching the situation with empathy and perspective. Ultimately, pausing and reflecting before responding is about reclaiming your power. It allows you to act intentionally rather than being at the mercy of your emotions. It's a practice that not only improves your relationships and decision-making but also helps you become a more grounded, self-aware individual. While it may take time and effort to develop this habit, the rewards are profound. Each pause is a step toward greater clarity, compassion, and control in your life. Immense energy. They can either fuel progress or create setbacks, depending on how we handle them. Channeling emotions productively is not about suppressing or ignoring them but rather about using them as a source of motivation and focus to achieve positive outcomes. This process involves understanding the energy behind your feelings and deliberately directing it toward actions that align with your goals and values. Take anger as an example. It is one of the most intense emotions, often associated with conflict or frustration. Left unchecked, anger can lead to destructive behaviors such as arguments, rash decisions, or even physical altercations. However, when anger is channeled productively, it becomes a powerful motivator for change. For instance, anger about an unjust situation can inspire someone to advocate for a cause or initiate meaningful reforms. The key lies in recognizing the underlying message of the emotion. Anger often signals that something feels wrong, and then choosing a constructive outlet for that energy. Similarly, fear is another emotion that can either hinder or help, depending on how it is channeled. Fear often arises in the face of uncertainty or perceived danger, triggering the body's fight or flight. While this can sometimes lead to paralysis or avoidance, fear can also serve as a guide. It highlights areas where preparation or caution is needed, encouraging you to take proactive steps to mitigate risks. For example, fear of failure might push you to study harder, prepare more thoroughly, or seek mentorship. ultimately leading to better outcomes. By embracing fear as a signal rather than a barrier, you can transform it into a driver of growth. Joy and excitement, while generally seen as positive emotions, also require intentional direction to ensure they are productive. These feelings can sometimes lead to impulsive decisions or distractions if not managed carefully. For instance, the excitement of starting a new project might tempt you to rush ahead without adequate planning. However, when joy and excitement are channeled purposefully, they become a source of inspiration and creativity. They provide the energy and enthusiasm needed to tackle challenges, innovate, and maintain momentum over the long term. The process of channeling emotions productively begins with self-awareness. You must first acknowledge and name what you are feeling. This might seem simple, but many people struggle to pinpoint their emotions, especially when they are complex or layered. Take the time to pause and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? What is the source of this emotion? By identifying the specific emotion, you create a starting point for understanding its energy and purpose. Once you've identified your emotion, the next step is to evaluate its intensity and impact. Ask yourself, how strong is this feeling? Is it helping or hindering me in this moment? Understanding the intensity of your emotions can help you determine the best way to channel them. For example, mild frustration might be redirected into problem solving, while intense anger might require a cooling off period before taking action. Recognizing the level of emotional energy you're dealing with allows you to respond appropriately. Another important aspect of channeling emotions productively is identifying constructive outlets. Emotions are a form of energy, and they need a release. If this energy isn't directed towards something positive, it can build up and manifest in unhealthy ways. Physical activity, for instance, is an excellent outlet for emotions like anger, frustration, or stress. Going for a run, practicing yoga, or engaging in a sport can help dissipate the intensity of these feelings, while providing a sense of accomplishment and clarity. Creative activities are another effective way to channel emotions. Writing, painting, playing music, or even cooking can serve as therapeutic outlets for processing and expressing feelings. These activities not only help release emotional energy, but also allow you to produce something tangible and meaningful. For example, writing about your fears or frustrations in a journal can provide insight and closure, while painting or drawing might help you express emotions that are difficult to articulate verbally. Setting goals is a powerful way to channel emotions into forward momentum. When you feel strong emotions, use that energy to fuel your commitment to a specific objective. For example, if you're feeling disappointed after a setback, channel that disappointment into determination to try again. Set clear, actionable goals that give you a sense of direction and purpose. This transforms the emotional energy into motivation, pushing you to keep moving forward. Another technique for channeling emotions productively is practicing mindfulness and visualization. Mindfulness helps you stay present and grounded, reducing the likelihood of being overwhelmed by emotions. When you feel a surge of emotion, take a few deep breaths and focus on the present moment. Visualization can complement this by helping you imagine how to use the emotion positively. For instance, if you're feeling anxious about an upcoming presentation, visualize yourself channeling that nervous energy into a confident and engaging delivery. This mental rehearsal helps shift your focus from fear to preparation. Learning to channel emotions productively also involves reframing how you perceive them. Instead of viewing emotions as obstacles, see them as opportunities for growth and action. Each emotion has a message or lesson to offer. For example, sadness might signal the need for self-care or reflection, while jealousy could highlight areas where you want to grow or achieve more. By reframing emotions in this way, you can approach them with curiosity and openness rather than resistance or avoidance. Surrounding yourself with supportive environments and people can also enhance your ability to channel emotions effectively. The people you interact with and the settings you spend time in can influence how you process and express your emotions. A positive, encouraging environment can help you stay focused on constructive actions, while negative or toxic environments may amplify unproductive behaviors. Choose relationships and spaces that inspire and uplift you, providing a foundation for channeling emotions in healthy ways. Developing routines and habits that promote emotional resilience can further support this process. Regular practices such as meditation, exercise, gratitude journaling, or engaging in hobbies can help you maintain emotional balance and reduce the likelihood of being overwhelmed by intense feelings. These habits create a steady baseline, making it easier to channel emotions when they arise. Finally, remember that channeling emotions productively is a skill that takes time and practice to develop. There will be moments when emotions get the better of you, and that's okay. The important thing is to reflect on those experiences, learn from them, and continue striving to improve. Each time you successfully channel an emotion into a positive action, you strengthen your ability to do so in the future. Emotions are a source of energy, and when directed intentionally, They can drive progress, creativity, and growth. By understanding your feelings, choosing constructive outlets, and aligning your actions with your values and goals, you can transform the raw power of emotion into a force for good in your life. The process requires awareness, patience, and practice, but the rewards are well worth the effort. Our thoughts have an extraordinary influence over our emotions and actions. The mind is like fertile soil, and whatever seeds you plant, whether positive or negative, will grow. This is why focusing on solutions instead of problems is a fundamental principle for managing emotions and maintaining a productive mindset. By deliberately shifting your focus to what can be done, you not only gain clarity but also foster resilience, creativity, and hope. When you dwell on problems, your energy gravitates toward feelings of frustration, fear, or helplessness. Problems often appear overwhelming, magnified by the constant replay of worst-case scenarios in your mind. This mental loop traps you in a cycle of negativity, making it difficult to see beyond the obstacles. However, shifting your focus to solutions breaks this pattern. It redirects your mental energy from lamenting over what's wrong to exploring what can be improved, resolved, or transformed. The first step in focusing on solutions is to reframe how you perceive challenges. Problems are inevitable in life, but they do not have to be seen as insurmountable roadblocks. Instead, view them as opportunities for growth, learning, and innovation. Every problem carries within it the potential for a solution or a lesson. When faced with a difficult situation, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I turn this challenge into an opportunity? This shift in perspective is empowering, as it changes the narrative from one of victimhood to one of agency and control. Clarity is essential for solution-focused thinking. Often problems feel overwhelming because they are vague or poorly defined. Take the time to break the issue down into its components. For example, if you're feeling stressed at work, pinpoint the exact source of your stress. Is it a looming deadline, a lack of resources, or interpersonal conflicts? By identifying the root cause, you can begin to explore specific actions that address the issue effectively. Clarity transforms a general sense of overwhelm into a manageable challenge. Once the problem is clearly defined, the next step is to generate ideas and possibilities. This requires a shift from a reactive mindset to a proactive one. Instead of focusing on why something won't work or what's going wrong, brainstorm potential solutions without judgment. Even if some ideas seem far-fetched, write them down. Creativity flourishes when you allow yourself to think freely. Solutions often emerge from unexpected angles when you give your mind the freedom to explore. Taking action is a critical component of focusing on solutions. Once you've identified potential steps forward, commit to taking at least one small action immediately. Action is the bridge between thought and reality, and even the smallest step can create momentum. For instance, if you're struggling with a financial problem, taking the first step, such as creating a budget or consulting with a financial advisor, moves you closer to resolution. Action dispels feelings of helplessness and replaces them with a sense of progress and control. Maintaining a positive outlook is also key to focusing on solutions. Positivity doesn't mean ignoring challenges or pretending they don't exist. Rather, it means approaching difficulties with confidence in your ability to overcome them. When you believe that solutions are possible, you're more likely to find them. Positive thinking cultivates resilience, allowing you to persevere even when progress feels slow. For example, if you're working on a long-term project that encounters setbacks, a positive mindset helps you stay focused on your ultimate goal, rather than being discouraged by temporary obstacles. Another powerful strategy for solution-focused thinking is asking better questions. The quality of the questions you ask yourself determines the quality of the answers you receive. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "What can I do to improve this situation?" Instead of focusing on what's wrong, ask, "What's one thing I can do right now to move forward?" These questions shift your focus from blame and frustration to action and possibility. They encourage a mindset of problem solving rather than dwelling. It's also important to surround yourself with people who inspire solution-oriented thinking. The company you keep significantly influences your mindset. Being around individuals who focus on opportunities, ideas, and progress can help you adopt a similar approach. Conversely, spending too much time with people who complain or dwell on problems can pull you into the same cycle of negativity. Seek out mentors, colleagues, or friends who encourage you to think constructively and provide fresh perspectives when you feel stuck. Visualization is another effective tool for focusing on solutions. When you're faced with a challenge, take a moment to close your eyes and imagine the ideal outcome. Picture what success looks like and how it feels. Visualization helps you align your thoughts with your desired result, making it easier to identify the steps needed to get there. For example, if you're preparing for an important presentation, Visualize yourself speaking confidently, engaging your audience, and achieving your goal. This mental rehearsal boosts your confidence and sharpens your focus on the actions required to succeed. Practicing gratitude is a powerful way to shift your focus from problems to solutions. When you focus on what you're grateful for, you train your mind to see the positive aspects of any situation. Gratitude doesn't erase challenges, but it provides a balanced perspective that makes them feel more manageable. For instance, if you're dealing with a difficult situation at work, expressing gratitude for the skills and resources you have can help you approach the problem with a sense of possibility rather than defeat. One of the most effective ways to sustain a solution-focused mindset is to reflect on past successes. Remind yourself of challenges you faced and overcome in the past. What strategies worked? How did you navigate those situations? Reflecting on your resilience and resourcefulness builds confidence in your ability to handle current and future challenges. It reinforces the belief that no matter how difficult a problem may seem, solutions are always within reach. It's also important to recognize that focusing on solutions doesn't mean ignoring emotions or pretending problems don't exist. Emotions like frustration, sadness, or anger are natural responses to challenges, and acknowledging them is an important part of the process. However, dwelling on these emotions without taking action can keep you stuck. Use your emotions as signals that something needs attention, then redirect your energy toward finding solutions. Focusing on solutions is a skill that requires practice and patience. It's not always easy to shift your mindset, especially when faced with complex or emotionally charged problems. However, the more you practice redirecting your focus, the more natural it becomes. Over time, solution-oriented thinking becomes a habit, a way of approaching life that fosters resilience, creativity, and success. By training your mind to focus on solutions, you take control of your narrative. You stop being a passive observer of your circumstances and become an active participant in shaping your life. Each challenge becomes an opportunity to grow, learn, and innovate. This doesn't mean avoiding hardship or pretending that challenges don't exist. Rather, it's about learning how to process emotions in a way that empowers you to rise above difficulties. Emotional processing is the bridge between experiencing setbacks and moving forward. It involves acknowledging, understanding, and effectively managing your emotions to create a path toward growth and resolution. When faced with setbacks, the first step in processing emotions is to allow yourself to feel them fully. Many people try to suppress or ignore difficult emotions like sadness, frustration, or disappointment, thinking it will make them go away. However, burying emotions often intensifies them, allowing them to resurface later in more disruptive ways. Giving yourself permission to feel is not a sign of weakness, it's an essential part of emotional health. For instance, if you lose an opportunity you've worked hard for, taking the time to feel disappointed or grieve that loss helps you begin the healing process. Acknowledging your emotions also involves identifying and naming them. Emotions can be complex and multifaceted, and putting them into words can provide clarity. Are you feeling anger, sadness, fear, or perhaps a mix of these emotions? Labeling your feelings helps you understand what you're experiencing and provides a starting point for working through them. For example, if you're angry after a professional setback, identifying the source of that anger, whether it's a sense of injustice or disappointment in yourself, can guide you toward constructive action. Once you've acknowledged your emotions, the next step is to create a safe space for processing them. This might mean finding a quiet place to reflect, talking to a trusted friend or mentor, or writing in a journal. Journaling is particularly effective because it allows you to express your feelings freely without judgment. Writing down your thoughts and emotions can help you make sense of them and uncover patterns or triggers. For instance, journaling about a failed relationship might reveal underlying fears or beliefs that contributed to the setback, giving you insights for future growth. Another important aspect of processing emotions is understanding their temporary nature. When you're in the midst of a setback, emotions can feel all-encompassing, as though they'll last forever. However, emotions are like waves, they rise, peak, and eventually subside. Reminding yourself of this can prevent you from becoming overwhelmed or paralyzed by your feelings. For instance, if you're experiencing anxiety about an uncertain future, recognizing that anxiety is a passing state can help you approach the situation with greater calm and perspective. Mindfulness is a powerful tool for managing emotions during setbacks. By focusing on the present moment without judgment, mindfulness allows you to observe your emotions without becoming consumed by them. This practice creates a sense of distance between you and your feelings, giving you the clarity to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. For example, if you're feeling frustrated about a missed deadline, mindfulness can help you acknowledge that frustration without letting it spiral into self-criticism or blame. It's also important to challenge negative thought patterns that often accompany setbacks. Setbacks can trigger thoughts like I'm a failure, things will never improve, or I'm not good enough. These thoughts are rarely accurate and can perpetuate feelings of hopelessness or inadequacy. Cognitive reframing is a technique that involves identifying and replacing negative thoughts with more balanced and constructive ones. For instance, instead of thinking, "I'll never succeed," reframe it as, "This setback is a temporary obstacle, and I can learn from it to improve." Self-compassion plays a crucial role in processing emotions during setbacks. Being kind to yourself, especially in moments of difficulty, creates a supportive internal environment for healing and growth. Many people are their own harshest critics, which only adds to the emotional burden of a setback. Practicing self-compassion means treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a friend in a similar situation. For example, if you make a mistake at work, instead of berating yourself, acknowledge that mistakes are a natural part of learning and growth. Another way to process emotions is through physical movement. Emotions are not just mental, they are also embodied experiences. Physical activity can help release pent-up energy and reduce stress, making it easier to manage your emotions. Whether it's going for a run, practicing yoga, or even taking a walk, movement provides a healthy outlet for processing feelings. For example, if you're feeling overwhelmed after a setback, a brisk walk can clear your mind and help you regain focus. Connecting with others is another essential part of processing emotions. Sharing your feelings with trusted friends, family members, or mentors can provide validation and support. Talking about your emotions doesn't make you weak. It strengthens your resilience by reminding you that you're not alone. Additionally, others can offer valuable perspectives or solutions that you might not have considered. For instance, discussing a career setback with a mentor might reveal new opportunities or strategies you hadn't thought of. Gratitude can also be a transformative practice when processing emotions during setbacks. While it might seem counterintuitive to focus on gratitude during difficult times, this practice helps shift your perspective from what you've lost to what you still have. Gratitude doesn't erase pain or frustration, but it provides a sense of balance and hope. For instance, if you've faced a financial setback, focusing on what's still going well, such as your health, relationships, or skills, can help you maintain a positive outlook. Learning from setbacks is one of the most empowering ways to process emotions. Every challenge carries a lesson, even if it's not immediately apparent. Reflecting on what went wrong, what you could have done differently, and what you've gained from the experience turns setbacks into stepping stones for growth. For example, losing a job might teach you about the importance of building a diverse skill set, leading you to pursue opportunities for self-improvement. Taking proactive steps toward resolution is another crucial part of processing emotions. While it's important to allow yourself time to feel and reflect, lingering too long in emotional processing can lead to stagnation. Identify actionable steps you can take to address the setback or move forward. For instance, if you're dealing with a failed project, brainstorming ways to improve your approach for the next one shifts your focus from dwelling on the past to building a better future. Developing a growth mindset is essential for navigating setbacks effectively. A growth mindset views challenges as opportunities for learning and improvement rather than as indicators of failure. This perspective fosters resilience and encourages you to embrace setbacks as part of the journey toward success. For example, if you encounter rejection in a personal or professional context, a growth mindset helps you see it as feedback rather than a permanent judgment of your worth. Finally, remember that processing emotions is not a linear process. There will be moments of progress and moments of difficulty, and that's okay. What matters is your willingness to engage with your emotions honestly and constructively. Setbacks are a natural part of life, but they don't define you. How you choose to process and respond to them is what shapes your growth and resilience. Processing emotions during setbacks is not about avoiding pain but transforming it into growth. By acknowledging your feelings, reframing your mindset, and taking constructive action, you build resilience and clarity. Each setback becomes a lesson, empowering you to rise stronger and move forward with purpose.